I spent a good deal of time yesterday, as you saw, kind of fixing these up and cleaning up the cable ties and things. And I feel like it looks really nice. So I was up late last night organizing wires. Now I've got two switches. The one on the left does the headlights and taillights. The one on the right does the canopy lights for the LED strip. This one right here, this is the radio. Absolutely beautiful. A little janky in its operation, but it sounds good. Down below, it's all nicely organized. All the wires come down. The two speakers split off, and the power to the LED lights split off. And then everything else heads down here into kind of my main frame. You can see that. There it is. So I've got all the negative wires coming in, and then on the sides the positive wires coming in. And this one right here, this bolt, I haven't put in the tail running lights, so I'm just going to add it to that set of bolts right there, the set of ring terminals right there. Yeah, so far it's working really good. We were playing with it last night, and we were playing probably for a good solid hour with all the lights and the radio blasting. And with my, let's see, 5 amp hours times 8, I had 40 amp hours running in there. So I reckon we will have lots and lots of time, lots of juice. The other discussion we're having is, where do I put these tail lights? I could mount the tail lights right into this sheet metal, but that is a little more destructive, I guess we could say. We could do like a, one of those hose clamps, like either here or that's too close in. Maybe here. I don't know. That's not a bad idea. I'll bring that up with the crew. Well, I am solving two issues today. Firstly, a lot of these handlebar mounted things are for 7/8 of an inch or a full inch, and all of these bars I think are like a half inch, maybe 5/8 of an inch. They're pretty thin. This one I think is probably 3/4 of an inch. It's not quite 7/8. It doesn't feel like a regular 7/8 handlebar. And this thing has some play to it. So I went to the dollar store, thanks Dollar Tree, and I got foam mounting tape, which I'm going to adhere to the the inside of each of those handlebar mounts, and hopefully that does the trick. The other thing that I'm solving today is, how the heck am I going to charge these batteries now that things are plugged in? Because I don't want to, the way I had it before is I ran basically charging after the switch. So basically, to charge this thing, I had to plug it in, I had to turn it on and charge it. So instead, I want to make a charger that essentially just taps into negative, positive, straight on the battery. And to do that, I'm going to make a couple of leads that come out of the battery box that are easily accessible. So I've streamlined this process. I've got a nut coming out of this side for the positive. I've got a nut hanging out of this side for the negative, and they are just the perfect little size for one of these alligator clips. And when I want to charge, I'll just find one, find the other, and I can even kind of tuck those in if I want to as well, so they're out of the way. Looks like it's charging good. We used the stereo quite a bit last night. While I've got you here, it may be a good time to tell you about how I wired all these wires. I did the single pair right here that'll go to this speaker, and then this one, there's actually 3 cables, the positive and the negative for the speaker, and then these two are the 12 volt going to the LED strip. So I tucked them in really nicely right against the edge. I spent a good deal of time yesterday, as you saw, kind of fixing these up and cleaning up the cable ties and things. And I feel like it looks really nice. Maybe I could add a couple more cable ties, but I trimmed them. They're pretty nicely out of the way, so I'm feeling pretty good about that. I thought it was going to be enough to just use these little silicone rubber spacers to make it a tiny bit thicker, but it doesn't need to be a tiny bit thicker. It needs to be significantly thicker. So I went to the dollar store and I bought this foam mounting tape. It looks like this. It comes in little pre-cut strips, And I think what I'll do is I'll just mount them across inside, and then when it clamps on, if I need some more, then maybe I'll use one of these. But I think it's going to work just with these mounts. We'll see. Alright, so I have put a lot of these little sticky tabs all around, and I found that they hold up a lot better if you take off the double-sided part and it's actually sticking. Go figure, right? So that's what they're meant for. When I tighten that in place, that's going to hold firm, and it's going to give us a little bit of padding too. This foam is going to be a little bit padded to protect the paint job, but it's also going to be a little bit of a shock absorber, so that's cool. All right, we got our two mirrors in place, and they are firm in place thanks to those little foam things that we added. This has a little cover to hide the nut, and once I sit, I'm going to position that, and we will be ready. Hi, Daisy. Can you see me in the mirror? This is ingenuity at its finest. Here are my taillights, and they have this mount right here between these two little threaded bolts. And I thought, golly, where should I put these? And while we were talking, I decided, man, wouldn't it be a great idea? There's this bolt right here. Why don't I get like an L bracket, you know? So I fashioned an L bracket, and I opened them up further. We drilled them out wider so that that bolt would fit right in. So we made it so that this bolt can just fit right through, and it'll hold the light bracket just right there. So I am going to install these parts, and we'll see how well it works. So both of these lights are installed. There's of course the ground, that's the black one, I've read all about it. And then the blue and the red, one is the running light and the other is the actual braking light. We can wire one to the brake light and then the other one just as a running light. We'll wire these together so that so we can test them out on the battery. Okay, moment of truth. Turn the key. And good, I haven't screwed up the radio. Let's flip these switches. This one is the canopy light. Very nice. And this one, if I wired it right, should be still the headlights. Headlights are both working. And tail lights. Very cool. Very cool. Oh my gosh. When I first got these from Amazon, they looked smaller than the listing made it look like. But looking at them here in person, holy cow. They fit just perfectly. They're absolutely beautiful. The tricky part is when I get the controller, I will have another input for like the actual brake. Now, whether that will share a ground, I'm not sure. I'll have to see what the charger or the controller puts out. It might be 12 volts, it might be all over the place. We'll see.